Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Server Room. I'm Nandini, your host for the podcast, the Enterprise IT podcast of Manage Engine. So today we have Kudiyarasan Balakrishnan. He is the manager of compliance at Zoho Corp, and we'll be talking a lot about how what audits are, what really compliance is, and how it actually affects running the business. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for calling me. Yeah.
How are you? How are you doing today?
Doing fine, as usual.
Nice. So, compliance has been a buzzword, I think, in the recent past few years, but I think you've been working with compliance for the past how many years?
So 10 years.
10 years? Okay. So you joined as, being part of compliance, or was it something else?
Actually, initially I joined the configuration management team
Okay.
and shifted to various teams, and now for past 10 years I'm in compliance team.
So configuration management is...
Maintaining the repository, check-in, code, and
Okay.
build the products.
Okay.
For example, managed engine products are actually built. So binaries are created. So my first work was to write the shell scripts to build the product and generate the reports. For example, the difference between the two builds, what are the changes happened. So what are the code changes, configuration changes happened, so that we can see what is the difference and we can check and verify. So long back actually, it is 2000 I am saying. 2000 I am saying.
Okay. So is this similar to GitHub?
Yeah. Actually, initially that was RCS. We call it RCS, CVS. So those are the concurrent version system.
Okay.
So
Alright.
those are the very early versions of that is repositories.
Okay. So today you're dealing with compliance.
Yeah.
And what exactly is it? Because I have heard this term at a lot of events, at a lot of conferences. So everybody keeps on saying that, we are compliant to this standard, but I don't understand how it affects the end product.
Yeah. So the compliance is actually is a contextual. So for example, it depends on the needs and expectations of the interested parties. For example, if you are starting an office in India, and you are going to serve only for locally, so in the local people, in that case it is better to have only at least base minimum of information security standard. For example, ISO 27001. That is the record. But if you want to expand your market, in that case you need to, for example, if you want to expand your business to Europe, in that case you must adhere to the GDPR. So you need to comply with the GDPR compliance. And if you are going to handle any personal health data, in that case, personal data of US customers, in that case, you need to comply to HIPAA compliance.
Right.
HIPAA regulations, right?
Yeah.
So it mainly depends on the needs and expectations of the interested parties, your customers mainly. So north to south, for example, you need to cater the requirements of your customers and vendors, something like that. And in the other side, you need to comply with the local regulations. For example, law of land. So you need to adhere to that.
Yeah, right.
So for example, in France, if you want to serve for France health data, in that case, HDS France is there. There is the one regulation is there. If you want to serve there is health data in UK region, it is DSPT. So we are working on that. If you want to process the payment card details, we have PCI DSS standard. So for any region, that is very common, and it is a mandatory requirement to have all the requirements in place. So PCI payment card industry data security standard, all the requirements should be adhered.
Okay. So if you're even dealing with PII, you would need particular compliance standards, or?
Yes. PII actually privacy is emerging, right? So last 2015 onwards, that is actually it is emerging in a very great way. So Zoho and Managing, of course, is one of the early adopter of ISO 27701.
Okay.
That is Privacy Information Management System complaint. So we are actually privacy, so we are giving very importance to privacy.
Okay, okay, done. All right. That's nice.
So GDPR, we are GDPR complaint as a corporate, as a corporate office and as a global company, we are GDPR compliant
Okay.
already.
Okay, okay.
And we have certifications for 27701, that is Privacy Information Management System. Along with that, Cloud Privacy 27018, we are already compliant with that also.
Okay.
And local many privacy complaint, for example CCPA in USA state. So that is we are all also compliant to that one.
Right, right. Understood. So, what are audits?
Yeah, so we can, yeah, so interesting. Audits we can categorize into three areas. That is, one is first party audit, that is internal audit, and second one is second party audit.
Okay.
Third one is independent third party audits.
Okay.
First part audits, that is internal audits, is mainly that is the mandatory requirement of any ISO audits. So for example, we have many standards in our portfolio. ISO 27001, 27701, 27017, 27018, and even 9001 and 22301, Business Continuity Management System, all are there. In the case, we conduct internal audits for those standards across all the scoped products and teams.
Okay.
For example, not only product teams, we actually conduct the internal audits for the operations and underlying framework teams also.
Okay.
So we have around 300 teams in the scope of internal audit. That is the first party audit. So this is something like internal test. If you do internal test very well, you can actually do very well in the external exam, right?
Right, right.
So internal test, so we, that is the first party audit. Second party audit, some customers want to audit us. So as per their policy, they have the right to audit, and they actually want to audit us, and they request, and they come here and audit us.
Okay.
So that is the second party, our customers.
They'll come and audit, or do we just show them our records?
Yeah, it is hybrid also. Some people actually come. Some banks are, that is mandatory for them.
Right.
Some banks also our customers. They come over here, and physically they come over here,
Okay.
and even some cases they visit data center.
Oh.
So that is restricted, and so it is a very if it is mandatory, we will get permission from our management, and we will actually we will allow them to visit the data center also.
Okay, okay, okay.
So this is initially it was not there. The second party audit very rare, as we are expanding in enterprise, and we are actually expanding our that is domain to banking sector and other things. It is actually coming. So easily we can we are having one audit per month at least.
Okay, okay. Wow, okay. But generally, how many should a company have? Based on, let's say, the size and the products they are in, how many audits is generally a good number to have in a month?
Yeah, actually, this is based on the audits, is how many certificates we can have. So that is based on the needs and expectation of interested parties. So as Zoho is growing in a greater way, so we are expanding length and breadth actually, right? So for example, we have expanded our ISO 27001 certification and other ISO certifications. Initially we started with India, and now it's expanded to USA, Europe, Singapore, Australia.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we are expanding the region is also Dubai, now Dubai and KSA, that is Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. So we have expanded to that. In depth wise, we actually, for example, 22301 also, we initially started with some set of products, business continuity management, and we have expanded to all the products now. All the regions will be expanding to it.
Right, right, right. Nice. That's nice. Okay.
So this mainly depends on the needs and expectation. So what sector you are going to serve, and what is in it. So yeah, so it is better to have more audits, because actually audits are business enablers.
Okay, okay.
So based on the certificates, if you moving forward to cater the needs of enterprise customers, so they have a defined list of prerequisites, right? So certifications are that is playing major role, and they give the confidence of our security of data and privacy and everything. So the third party, independent third party audits are having value, so they ensure the security of our data.
Ah, okay. So coming back to audits and what they are, what does it mean that there's an audit going on? Like generally, a lot of people I've seen, they get very nervous when there's an audit going on. So is it something related to that, or is it like I don't understand why employees get nervous if there's an audit going on, an internal audit going on?
Yeah. So this is now in Zoho, it is not a pass or fail case. Generally, actually, we have some baseline. So people, so that is the compliance is going that is up in the next level. So that people in each team wants to not to get any non-conformity. That is not a fail case. For example, they want to score 100% in every audit. So something like that. So that is the reason they want to avoid any non-conformity. So they are bit nervous because they want to score 98%, 95%, and they want to hear some good practices from the auditor.
Okay.
So that is new audit. Yes, that is bit. We will be becoming a bit nervous for new audit. If there are a new set of requirements. For example, in ISO 27001. The latest release is 2022. So release of the new 11 controls were introduced. So those were actually we were working on it, and this is the first time that part is audited, right? So in that case, so we will be becomes a bit nervous. What will be the auditor's expectation? So we go through the requirements and we understand and implement those things. Applicable controls are implemented. But so it is like waiting for the examination results, something like that. So it becomes as a central compliance team, that is happening. For the same thing for the team also. So they want to, so if any new controls are implemented, the teams wants to ensure that that is passed and they got a good score. So no non-conformity is there.
Okay, so what exactly gets tested? Like data, the way you handle data, or is it something completely different?
Which one?
For internal audits, if let's say you said that people want to get 100%, so what is it that they're actually getting tested on?
Yeah, actually every every requirement has a set of requirements. For example, PCI DSS has a set of requirements, and ISO 27000 has a set of requirements. So all the standards have their own set of requirements. So for example, if you take one product, so we will see what are the audit criteria applicable.
Okay.
So for example, it's a cloud, so you say on-premise product, ISO 27001 will be applicable. If it is a cloud product, along with ISO 27001, cloud security, cloud privacy, privacy information management system will be available, applicable. If it is handling health data, HIPAA is applicable. If it is served in France, health data, HDS is applicable. So the criteria is actually expanding. All the requirements are applicable to that particular products or frameworks or operation teams.
Okay.
In that sense, we have a set of questions, and the audit criteria, based on the audit criteria, the questions are asked from those requirements, the internal audit.
Okay.
So every team, most of the teams have that ISO 27000 baseline. According to, as I said, according to their expansion, according to their range of applicability, region-wise as well as type of data they are handling, the audit criteria depends.
Right. So there's no limitation at all.
Yeah. So it is actually expanding always.
Oh, that's difficult, right? Like for every auditor.
Yeah, actually, it's very interesting for us. Okay. So day by day, actually, we are learning challenges. We face challenges. Right. We just overcome. We are trying, and sometimes maybe some slips are there. That is also we take it as a learning, right. And we actually overcome that. So we are in a very interesting field and time. The time is exactly a super moment for us. Yeah. So that so many complaints are coming. In that case, Zoho is also actually jumping to a next level. Right. So we are in a very that is very strategical point of time here. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a very interesting for us. So our teams, so passion is very important for us. So with the help of the passionate team, so passion is one of the important cultures of Zoho. So with that strength, we are moving forward.
Nice, nice. So, what is like in your past 10 years that you've been associated with compliance, what is the biggest myth people have about compliance?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So initially we started our compliance with SOC 2. So initially US was the major that is customer region, right? So we started with SOC 2 and we slowly expanded to ISO 27001. That is next. So now that that compliance journey is actually going on, and we are expanding in horizontally and vertically. In the case now people are thinking that ISO 27001, so we are already compliant. So why we need to what is the special about new compliance? We are already compliant to everything, right? They are thinking in that way. That is not so. As I said, if you are going to process the payment card details, you need to become PCI DSS compliant. You need to work on the requirements for that. So the requirements may fall on the whole to the framework level, operations level to applications level, right?
Yeah.
So there is no automatic compliance. So every team need to work. Every team need to work their part. They need to work on their part and to become the compliant.
Right. Even
So-
like as you said before, even for every use case it is different. Like you need to be compliant with other set of compliances if your use case is, let's say, something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ISO 27001 is a very good baseline. So if you want to expand to your cyber security, you need to work on that cyber security part. So now it is a emerging trend that is already started. So cyber security is very important. We need to work on that. So cyber security specific requirements are there. So we cannot say that there is ISO 27001, that's enough, something not like that. We need to expand, and we know the system very well. So in Tamil one say is there, that means you should know, so you are telling truth. So you don't worry about the others, right? So you have to, know the system very well, you need to work very well. And if don't think about whether the external auditor can capture it or not. So you need to work hard and to become compliant to that.
Yeah, that's really interesting for all the Tamil viewers. That was something that you can catch on to. Perfect. So I was reading up about compliance and I came across this term ISMS, which is Information Security Management System. So I just wanted to know a little bit about what exactly it is, and if, let's say, a company were to implement it, how would they start implementing it, and what would like the workflow look like?
Yeah, Information Security Management System, the standard is ISO 27001. So some important terms are there. So modern compliance revolves around risk management. That is the core one. So there is a PDCA cycle is there. Plan, Do, Check, Act is there. So and CAA triad, that is confidentiality, integrity, availability of data. So these are the important terms related to ISMS. So CAA triad, that is security triad, that is confidentiality, integrity that is completeness of the data, and availability of the data. So all the standards are focusing on this part. So the data is important, that the confidentiality, integrity and availability of that particular data should be ensured always. Right, that is one. And plan, Do, Check, Act. For example, we need to plan and implement it, that is do, check, monitor it and act. So that is you need to take the things, that is a deviation from getting monitoring. While monitoring you get some inputs, right? So the deviations, we need to work on that, and once again you go into that cycle, PDCA cycle. So ISMS has a list of mandatory document requirements. Policy and procedure should be there, and that is the documentary requirements, around 10 requirements are there. So we need to complete to that one.
Okay.
And apart from that, we need to implement the procedures. Actually, we need to realize all the policies should realize properly, and in every activities, business functions and activities, the particular risk owner should know, should analyze, and should document all the risks and risk, how to mitigate it. So if there is a mitigation, and even after mitigation, there may be some residual risk there. So the risk owner should know whether it is under the risk acceptance criteria. So if it is not there, need to get the permission from the top management and how to proceed, whether we can go along with this one, something like that. So risk management is a very important part. So according to the criteria, the risk is there. So for example, if you are going to only use ISMS, there is ISMS risk. If it is going for, if the criteria includes PIMS, Privacy Information Management System, in that case, you will have privacy related risk and the data risk. So everything is a risk based actually. So if you do risk very well and ensure that even all the SDLC and what are all the activities we are carrying out, so almost we are done. So that we are done means we are nearing completion, right?
Okay.
So the thought process, the risk based thought process is important for compliance. So any compliance actually as of now. So if you do any change, you need to check what are the risks there. So what are the mitigating ways, whether we need to avoid the risk or we need to properly address the risk and mitigate it.
So you always have to keep on thinking about scenarios.
Yes.
Okay. Does AI help in this?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Actually, that is AI. Some ISO standards are coming up. So we are actually we are analyzing it.
So like it's difficult for one person to keep on thinking about scenarios in which your product or anything is available to risk. But I think if AI comes in and they help think about scenarios, I think that's better, right?
Yeah, that's better. The system, for example, Zoho system is a bit unique. So, right. So in that case, AI can help, but the person inside the system can know very well. So AI can definitely help.
Okay, done. So how does, if let's say I were to start a startup today, and if I want to be compliant to, let's say, ISO 27001, so where do I start? Is it there online? Is there a department that I can reach out to? How does this whole process work?
Yeah. So, we, as I mentioned, so we need to first check needs and expectation of interested parties. If it is only one ISO 27001, you first need to buy that standard online. That is a legitimate copy of the standard you need to buy, and you go through it. You can employ any person who knows who is expertise, or you can employ any second party. So you need to actually implement those standards, that is requirements, into the company. As an organization, that it spreads. That is, as a company, some controls are applicable, and for your product process followed in the product, that controls are applicable. So there are 4 to 10 classes. That is, 7 classes are there. So ISO standard has 10 classes, ISMS, and the first 3 are introductory, and some prefaces are there. So 4 to 10, the 7 classes are mandatory, and it has a set of controls. 27002 controls, ISO 27002, that standard, that guidelines has some set of controls. We need to adhere to all the applicable controls.
Okay. So when is the correct time to apply for it? Like, is it from inception you should apply even without you having like customers, or is it that once you get like let's say a particular number of customers, only then you should probably apply for it?
Actually, privacy by design, security by design, and compliance by design. That is actually that is true. So you need to think compliance from very starting point. So design level, you need to think.
Oh, okay. All right, that's interesting.
So now previously, so some 10 years back, that was not the case actually. We first develop the product, and down the line so once the product is getting matured, we will think of compliance, right? So now it is most of the cases, it is cloud services, right? in the case even one security or one compliance, one privacy breach can shut your company, so shut your features. So that is better to think in that way. So
Okay, okay.
compliance by design.
Understood. So how does like data localization play into all of this? Because there are a lot of data centers that are coming up in every country specifically, and I think countries themselves want data centers to be part of, be positioned in their country. So how do companies make sure that they're compliant to that country's compliance regulations?
Yeah, so there is an interest of that country. That is actually legitimate interest because they want their data to be safe,
Correct.
so not to be breached, right?
Yeah,
So that is a very legitimate requirement. So by like in the context of Zoho and managed engine, so we have regional data centers. So we have the data are stored locally. So there is no transaction between the data centers. For example, in US we have two data centers, that is primary and DR, and Europe also. So once in Netherlands and another in Ireland. So we have data centers. In India we have two data centers. So in India, in every region, so we have specific data centers. The data are stored locally, purely locally in that region only.
Okay, okay.
So in our data center aspect in Zoho and managed engine, so both the primary and DR site has almost equivalent infrastructure. So we can easily switch and work. So there is additional information.
Nice, nice. Okay. Now, have you like faced any interesting stories in your travel? Do you travel a lot for compliance meetings and all of that?
Yeah, external audit, actually we have offices abroad, right? So we go there and I go there and participate in the audits.
Okay, okay, okay. So any interesting stories from those meetings that you can probably share?
So every meeting is
Every meeting is memorable.
interesting. So actually generally we don't get more time while traveling. So we go attend the meeting and come back. So because other works are there, so generally it happens so.
Okay, 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 okay. Nice. So, do you have like these situations where there's a trade-off between, let's say, compliance and efficiency of any product?
Yeah, governance play a role here. There is governance, the balance between the compliance and performance or efficiency, right? So we need to actually, without business, there is no meaning for security or privacy or compliance, right? So, but if you lose compliance or privacy or security, in that case, business will fall. So we need to balance both the things.
Right. Yeah.
Strike at a proper way. So that is very important. So we are working on that. So we always keeping that in mind, so that we work towards the compliance without compromising any requirement of compliance.
Okay.
Right. So that is actually ensured at Zoho.
Okay. So it doesn't affect performance at all.
Sometimes slight variations are there, but that should be bearable. So right. So if it is a slight impact, we actually that is inform the top management. If it is going to be a big impact, we need to we will discuss with the team. For example, in the case we will scope down the audit. Right. For example, if you are going to for example, recently happened. Yeah. So initially, some set of processes followed in particular products needed that BCMS, Business Continuity Management System. Okay. So we initially think to go for all the regions, all the products, but it took time and we actually analyzed the risk and we scoped down it.
Okay.
In the case, what is needed for immediate requirement, we will go that way, and down the line we will expand it. So without compromise the quality, we just minimize the scope and do so that.
Okay. Makes sense. So you had also mentioned SOC 2 earlier. That's
Yes.
how we started our journey. So what is the difference between SOC 1 and SOC 2?
Yeah, SOC 1 is based on the ICFR, Internal Controls over Financial Reporting. Okay. That is Book of Accounts, that is applicable to that SOC 1. SSA 18, ISAE 3402 formats are there. Okay. So that is Actually, financial companies need that report for if they use our software. For example, Zoho Finance suite of products are SOC 1 compliant. So in which they are actually our customers are using those products for their financial reporting.
Correct.
So that is a mandatory requirement. Right?
Okay.
So SOC 2 is a general trust criteria is there. So security, privacy, security, confidentiality, integrity, privacy, and so 5 categories are there. Integrity, security, confidentiality, integrity, availability, and privacy.
Okay.
So they are 5 categories are there. So that is the general.
This is SOC 2.
SOC 2.
Okay.
SOC 1 is financial reporting.
Okay.
SOC 2 is ITGs. Is IT general controls are there.
Okay.
So even SOC 1 also we have IT general controls are there. SOC 2 is focusing on these 5 categories.
Okay.
SOC 2 is focusing on SOC 1 is focusing on the financial reporting part.
Right.
Integrity is important for there.
Okay. Understood.
So in Zoho, all the products are SOC 2 compliant. All the divisions, all the products are SOC 2 compliant.
Okay.
And for SOC 1, Zoho Finance suite products are SOC 1 compliant, along with some other products. So based on some customers, actually most of the products on Zoho are highly customizable. In that sense, they use various reasons, they customize heavily and they use for financial reporting. In that case, they will ask, we need complaints for this one. So we will analyze and we include that product also. That is also growing.
You mean like custom products they build?
Yeah, so for example, Zoho Creator,
Oh,
so they will be using
okay.
something like
Even analytics?
Yeah, analytics, they want to show
Correct.
the data are pulled and shown, right? So in that case, that is also coming into that SOC 1 report.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you like always, so there are a lot of terms you used in the last 20 minutes we've been talking, and half of them like I don't even know what they actually mean, but how do you always like make sure your team is motivated enough to keep on learning, because there are already like a lot of regulations out there. You said there are more coming in because of AI growing and stuff like that. So how do you always make sure that your team is up to date?
Yeah. So actually there are administrative setup is there. So we have GRC team there.
Okay.
And we have supporting compliance and supporting security and privacy team out there. So we are working as a group.
Okay.
So they are actually supporting each other to be compliant always. And our team members actually that is one of the cultures I said, that is passionate people are there. So they are the backbone of any program. And compliance also we have very good members in my team.
Of course, I'm sure. After talking to you, I'm definitely sure. Yes, perfect. Done. So, one last question. Like, I've heard all of these external auditors come in, and if let's say you have a customer who actually wants to go through your audits, what is it that they should actually look at in your audits?
It's a second party audit or independent third party?
It could be anything. Like, looking at the report, what is it that they should actually look out for?
Okay. So I split it into 2 parts. One is whenever the customer is coming here and auditors, that is one part. So they actually in that case they would have a list of requirements. For example, what are the products they are using? For example, it may be CRM, Zoho CRM, or Manage Engine ADMP. So they come up with those lists, and they in the audit plan they will include those products and processes followed in their products and other general requirements. For example, operations, what are the HR, how the HR is happening, what is the legal team, whether they have a list of applicable laws, and what are the processes there. So they will look into the scope according to the criteria also. For example, it is ISO 27001, they will scope that criteria. So it depends on that is what is the criteria, what is the applicable products.
Okay.
So they come up with the product plan and what is the timeline, they fit timeline, and they engage us, and some negotiation will be there, and audit happens. That is one thing. Second thing is, so if you provide the list of reports, so if any report first they will see whether it is pass or fail. So in for SOC 1, SOC 2. So pass fail, that is if there is a call, that is a report is passed, they will look into some deviations will be there. So anyway, so there may be zero deviation or some deviation, but that is not affecting the result of the report, right? In that case, they will some of the customers will be going through that exceptions. We call it in SOC 1, SOC 2 exceptions, and they will see whether they think that is serious or not. They will ask questions on that. So that is how it goes. And what is the validity of the certificates? And they will be looking, and because they have their own yearly audit plan, right? So they will check vendors, the VR of their vendors. They will check whether the vendor is proper, because this is to ensure the compliance throughout the supply chain.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
As
Only
a cloud service provider, we are the important to them.
Yeah.
Cloud service provider as well as on-premise products.
Yeah, only if I think we are compliant, they at the end of the day will be compliant to their own customers.
They're not.
So if let's say we as a vendor are compliant to regulations and they are using our products, only then they will be compliant to their.
Exactly.
It's a loop.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually many regulated entities are our customers now. So they are using Zoho Cloud Service or Managed Cloud Service there as their products, right? In that case, automatically, actually they depend on it, and we should actually comply to that requirements. The supply chain.
Yeah, makes sense. So what are some things in compliance that you're excited about for 2025?
2025, actually, so many new complaints are coming up.
Okay.
For example, in Dubai, that is, we have DESC complaints. We are working on it.
DESK.
DESC, Dubai Electronics Security Center.
Okay.
So that is to serve government and semi-government organizations. That is a mandatory requirement. It has a component there. So ISO 27001 should be there. For the data center, ISO 2717, that is cloud security, should be there. And business continuity should be there. And CSA star should be there. So we are actually working on that. And there is one thing. And Zoho is expanding in Australia, and every region is expanding.
Right.
So in 2025, there is one thing, that is a DESC compliance, our immediate requirement, that is immediate goal.
Okay. Nice. That's interesting. That's really good. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had questions about. But if you have more questions, please let us know in the comments below, and then we'll make sure that we talk to Kudi and give you an answer for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kudi. It was lovely having you on the
Thank you for
show.
this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.